Podcast Network Asia.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed.
I said give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Zayda Zayn.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Talent is not sexually transmitted.
You need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks!
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I'm Lewis Howley. I'm Sam Scotia. We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Igna Dragunov, the star, the NXT UK champion, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching and listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, Emile ASH, all checking in on your regular Thursday live stream. Sana hindi kayo katulad ko na nakatatlong palit na ngayon dahil sa sobrang init. We are coming in hot with a lot to talk about as always, from the latest chapter in the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens form of cinema, along with some stuff happening AEW. Plus, meron tayong audio-only conversation that's also going to be part of the release tomorrow when you log on to Spotify or your favorite podcatchers. No Chino on the show for tonight. He's got some stuff he needs to take care of, but I think, the three of us are more than well equipped to take care of our wrestling talk for the week. But first, we got to give a shout out to all of our patrons on the Wrestling Podcast Patreon program. And Emile has the scoop on what you get if you sign up to be a Wrestling Podcast patron.
All right, so it's WrestleMania season, and as you all know, it's the best time to be a wrestling fan, and you could join in on all the fun by subscribing to our Patreon program, by subscribing to patreon.com/wrestling podcast. So madaming perks ang Patreon program namin. Like, for example, the Discord community, where we talk about everything and anything under the sun. Of course, we talk about wrestling, but we also talk about other things as well, like food, gaming, fashion. We also host watch parties there sometimes. So there's a Discord community. Another thing is our pasabays, which the next one will come during WrestleMania season, same daming sale. So if you want to get your authentic WWE shop merch, you could get it through us. And also, you can get some review content from the weekly wrestling shows like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and some local wrestling events as well. And by subscribing to our Patreon, you're supporting everything that we do here on the podcast. So again, please subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/wrestling podcast for as low as $5, or in our local currency, it's around 260 to 270 pesos.
Yan, we like to cater to our customers. That's you, tulad ni Julian in the comments.
Yeah.
Isang comment mo lang, sinagot ka na ni Ro.
Yeah, no. I knew I was missing something. I was thinking about it before we went on the air, and I was thinking, like, oh, shit, anong funny thing. And I totally forgot that we were talking about this the whole week. And you too can also make like Cody in this picture and watch on the screen, because syempre may WrestleMania viewing party tayo on April 2 and 3. That is a Sunday and a Monday. The show starts at 8 a.m. The door opens at 7 a.m. All you got to do to, save your seat, may seat tayo. We have actual table reservations this time. I was told by Skinny Mike. So if you want to make sure that you have a guaranteed table and seating, all you got to do is go to snack.ph/geektalkph. That's snack.ph/geektalkph to buy your early bird tickets, 400 pesos for 1 day pass. You can choose which day you want to go on the snack.ph site. And for 2 days, we want to go for both days at 750 pesos. After March 27, it's going to be a little more expensive. If you choose to walk in, kunyari nalaman nyo na, ngayon lang, free na pala ako for WrestleMania. You are going to have to pay a little more extra, like 500 for 1 day and 900 for both days. Yun, there is the URL on the chat. Thank you so much. Sino mang admin ang...
Ayun.
Yeah. So we will have not just the viewing party experience. If you saw the clip I posted on TikTok, that was from all the way almost 10 years ago when Seth Rollins cashed in on Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. So the place went wild, and you can be a part of that atmosphere as well for whatever's going to happen. If you're a Cody fan, maramang will be, or some of you will be, or most of you will be cheering when Cody finally wins the Uwu Championship. For the rest of us, we'll be cheering when Sami and Kevin win the Tag Team Championship. Then, syempre, we have prizes as well. We have goodie bags from Disney Plus, our one of our official partners, hashtag Disney Plus PH. Syempre, we also have some wrestling-related prizes to give away. We have Funkos, as we posted earlier this week on the Geek Talk and Wrestling podcast page. We have action figures that we have yet to post. You'll see that before the show. So if you want, some really cool action figures of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, and other legends, syempre, punta na kayo para may chance manalo. And I think we'll be also getting maybe some wrestling merch, WWE merch. Is that on the way, Stan?
Should be on the way, so I'll update you guys kapag we're closer to getting that stuff sent over to my place. In the meantime, sabi nga ni Ro, snack.ph/geektalkph. The link is actually on the screen as well, so go ahead and click that and get your tickets for the WrestleMania 39 viewing party. Kita-kita kayo ni Ro and Emile and Chino and Rowan sa Skinny Mike. So ako nasa bahay ako kasi magtatrabaho ako.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about some wrestling here. And we're going to start with some sad news from outside the ring. We found out today that the lead guitarist of Saliva, the band that brought you such wrestling hits like Batista's theme song, I Walk Alone, the theme song to WrestleMania 23, ladies and gentlemen, Don't Question My Heart,
Yeah,
the ECW theme song from 06 to 2010. His name was Wayne Swinney. He passed away at 59 due to a brain hemorrhage. So not a lot of people realize how impactful sa wrestling world yung music ng Saliva. Some of you might just know Josie Scott, yung dating vocalist nila for Hero, that song on the Spider-Man 2 OST, OG Spider-Man. But for a lot of us, if you know songs like Ladies and Gentlemen, I Walk Alone, Don't Question My Heart, and all the others that Sean Ross Sapp listed down on Twitter, huge loss for us wrestling music lovers here.
The fact that we have an entire meme in Batista's theme song is because of this man here. Jim Johnson laid the foundation, but he built on it with such an awesome guitar riff and awesome playing that, nabigyan. It was one of those things that cemented Batista as a main eventer, that he got such a cool rendition of his original theme song thanks to Saliva.
Yeah, so if you have some time tonight and walang masyado maiingayin sa area nyo, go play one of their signature songs on full blast in your room just to enjoy Saliva's music tonight. Rest in peace, Wayne Swinney. All right, on to some wrestling talk. We're going to start with SmackDown, and we're going to talk about Sami Zayn trying to convince Jey Uso to see the light and to betray Roman Reigns. And as you can see naman, there is no reasoning with Jey Uso. No matter how hard Sami tried to plead, nabanatan pa rin siya ng Usos, which led to the KO return and reconciliation later on. So mamaya na si Kevin Owens. I want to start with you, Emile. Did Sami look silly here trying to reason with Jey?
I think he did. Kasi sinabi na ni Jey Uso lahat. He already said the reasoning why he went back. I mean, he went back to back up his brother Jimmy. Not necessarily na eye-to-eye na siya with the bloodline, but he already said his reasoning, and Sami keeps insisting, wala na eh. He already turned on Sami Zayn. I think it was kind of too late for Sami to do any convincing. Especially now he was also trying to reconcile with Kevin Owens. So, for me, he did kind of look silly. But to be fair, out of everybody in the bloodline, Jey was the one who really looked at him as a friend. So maybe Sami considered that, but in a way, wala na eh. Nangyari na yung
si Jey yun. Di ba si Jimmy yung unang naging warm kay Sami? Jey was the one he tried to win over for months.
No, I don't think Jimmy was really that he was never really truly Sami's friend.
Yes, he was. He was the one who vouched for him.
Yeah, okay. Pero basta, I think it was really Jay who really earned Sammy. It was Sammy who earned Jay's trust out of everyone.
Well, yeah, because he was the one who was cold to Sammy in the first place. That's why he had to earn. No, Jimmy was already there. He was already cool with Sammy when he was trying to get into the bloodline.
But eventually kasi sila yung talaga naging close. Si Sami sa si
sure.
Jay. So yun. So
I guess. I have a counterpoint to that. I don't think Sami looked silly in trying to reason with Jay, because you have to take into consideration then one, Jay's promo from the week before on SmackDown, in which he very blatantly said that he did it for Jimmy and not for Roman. And then you have to take into consideration what happened on Raw on Monday, where Roman himself tried to figure out, nakahalata na siya na baka may something here. It's not because Jay said outright, again, this is what I was saying, last week, why would you say that, the quiet part out loud? And now Roman heard the quiet part out loud, and now he's trying to test you. And then you go to, sorry, I'm jumping ahead here. You go to what Cody said in the main event segment. Na he repeated what Sami said to Jay in saying that when Roman loses, Jay's going to be the first one to turn, because Jay was the first one who was gaslit. So it's not silly. They are deliberately harping on that point through Sami and Cody because of Shekov's firearm. It's going to happen sometime later. They're not just foreshadowing it. They are pretty much spoiling it because, again, that's where everyone wants the story to go. You don't do that if you're not gonna go there, diba? Like, let's just throw a fan service and pop the crowd and assume that nothing's gonna happen. We're not gonna do this,
It might not be for the title, but we're most probably getting that Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso match. If not at SummerSlam later this year, maybe WrestleMania 40. Hindi natin alam, di ba? So let's go over to the next part of that story beat, which was the reconciliation we were waiting for. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn patched things up. And I was saying this in the Pick of the Week episode from the other day na in their 20-plus year career, it's amazing how their story has literally taken them through different promotions all the way to WWE. And so I ask, nagmadali ba sila? Like, was this past SmackDown the right time for KO and Sami to have that hug? Let's start with you, Ro.
At first I said it was, and then I realized, okay, so again, I realized that no. We have two more SmackDowns. We have this week's SmackDown and then next week's SmackDown. I said that it should have been this week's SmackDown because I couldn't buy Kevin Owens leaving the arena and then 2 hours later, nag-iba siya ng isip niya. And then I realized, okay, Sami did say, "I love you, man," like Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, but I figured that they had time to milk it a little more, to milk the drama a little more. But either way, it doesn't matter what I feel because it works. I think it worked. The people loved it. You have 2 weeks, I guess, they announced the championship match on Raw, which I think was even more rushed than this reunion, diba? Kasi they just accepted the match without even really thinking about it, we all knew it was headed there. Why not, why not milk it a little more and make it a little more intense? Because again, it's a question of what do you do from here because you are hitting the climaxes a little too early. So, yun lang naman. It's fine. I think that they got to where they were going. I think people enjoyed where they went. And you mentioned the story taking, 10 years. It's been 10 years. And even more, actually. So, ang laking utang na loob ni Triple H sa Ring of Honor. Because without any of those, he wouldn't have gotten this, gem of a story, right? It's weird because his entire long-term plan of stealing from Ring of Honor and building NXT as the next better funded Ring of Honor has finally culminated in this moment. So it's a big W for Hunter.
Yeah, and Ring of Honor.
The only difference between the Ring of Honor one and this one is the Ring of Honor, they never had a reconciliation like they did.
Yeah,
now.
because
they both got picked up by WWE.
No. Sami got picked up again.
Yeah.
And then KO got picked up not long after that.
Yeah, mga 1 year yung agwat ng nila, pag-sign nila.
Alright, so yeah, I asked this question actually in Pick of the Week episode natin, and y'all said now we should reserve it for tonight. So I'm gonna ask it again. If you were in KO shoes, would you have done the same thing? Na he forgave Sami, or you would have done the same thing na hindi parang di mo napapatuan si Sami, or you would find something in you to forgive him after all the things he did over the past year? Because let's not forget, Sami was a part of the bloodline, and as part of the bloodline, he was also messing with Kevin Owens for months. Like even after Survivor Series, even though Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn said that they don't want to do anything with each other, for some reason nagka-cross paths pa din sila. So if you were in KO shoes, would you have forgiven Sami Zayn?
I think that's sinagot na. We were leaving it for today.
Yes.
Sige, you go first.
I can tell you for a fact that the Kevin Owens character is probably a better person than I am, because I would not do what Kevin Owens did. I'm pretty petty. I like holding on to grudges, and I don't think I'm capable of forgiving someone who would hurt me the way Sami hurt Kevin Owens. And over the last few years, I've experienced that quite a bit. Yung ganung klaseng parang betrayal of friendship, and I have nothing but antipathy in my heart for these people.
Wait, but the Kevin Owens role kasi is that it wasn't just Sami hurting Kevin Owens. It was also Kevin Owens originally being the aggressor here. So even if you were the dick before, you would, not come around and reunite.
Oh, I'll be honest, hindi ko naisip yun. I totally forgot that nuance.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin did start this. If you ask me that now, I don't know, parang hindi pa rin eh. Kasi like we've moved on from the original aggression. That's how I would see it in my own life. Could be different for you.
Yeah, it is different for me. Like, it's nice to be friends again with people. Like, if as long as they're not apologizing yet, then sige, wag muna away muna tayo. Pero Sami was sincere there. I mean, like, Sami was bearing his heart, even if the end game was recruiting Kevin Owens to fight the bloodline. But yeah, I'm not a hard person to win back. So I can see why Kevin Owens did what he did, and actually it impressively humanizes him a lot more. Because before my entire perception of Kevin Steen was that he was a dick. That's who I knew when I first started watching ROH in the early 2010s. Diba? So the fact that he is actually able to develop his character, his personality, is like a big W for me, who has been following Kevin for quite a while now.
Yeah, ungkatin natin yun, that interview that you did with Kevin Steen before he signed with WWE.
It wasn't an interview. It was just no, it wasn't an interview. It was him checking up on me because one of the people he worked with on screen commented on one of my columns. So he was making sure that that person, that character, wasn't bullying me or anything because I criticized him or whatever. So that was pretty cool of him. Yeah, that was pretty cool of him. That's what I knew. He was a stand-up guy. But as a character, I always knew that he was that immature dick.
All right, let's move on here to another thing that happened on SmackDown, that being Gunther causing a double disqualification and essentially sealing his fate at WrestleMania. Now it's going to be a triple threat between himself, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. And Ro, you said that this was pretty out of character for the Ring General.
Oh, kasi minention diba? Minention Michael Cole. Instead of dealing with the problem, he made it worse for himself, right? So, Gunther isn't always that emotional. Like when Vince was writing him, he was, but generally he's not that dumb. I don't understand why he interfered when the match was almost about to end. It wasn't like there was a fear, there was a threat, or there was a risk of the match being thrown out, diba? So it was strange, and instead of having one challenger, he gets two challengers. The only way I can see this being salvaged is kung sinabi niya na, ginawa ko to kasi gusto ko ng super challenge for WrestleMania. Instead of, just having a classic with one guy, I will prove that I'm the final boss and beat two guys. But as long as he's not saying that, he's going to look super dumb right now.
Ikaw, Emile, did you like how they ended up with the triple threat?
I liked the triple threat, but I did not like how it was set up. Kasi Gunther, like for weeks, he's saying na he doesn't care who he faces at Mania, and he was even in commentary, nung SmackDown, he was saying na whoever he faces, he's gonna do his job as the Intercontinental Champion and beat whoever it is that has to face him. So it was weird for him to go after Sheamus and Drew because his gimmick is like the class wrestler, who even though he's a heel, he's not your typical chicken heel. So for me to see him whine after what he did, it's very different from what I'm seeing from Gunther. So I don't know. The whole setup kind of felt weird, but I'm sure the match is gonna be a great one. So maybe that makes it up for the weird setup, I guess.
Eto, let me ask both of you this. Aaron in the comments is saying, baka big brain move kasi pag triple threat, no DQ.
No DQ for who?
For everyone at WrestleMania.
He can bring in Vinci and Kaiser.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kasi right now they haven't explained anything. They haven't explained why he did that. All we saw is that he was frustrated na it became a triple threat, diba? So until that actually happens, that's fan fiction for now. Kasi it's not aligned with how he was portrayed on Friday.
Hindi siya big brain move kasi umaangal nga siya na triple threat. So I don't know. I don't know about that one.
All right. We'll take our first break, and when we come back, we'll talk about how Cody and Roman got all inside baseball on Monday Night Raw. But first, we got to tell you that you can say goodbye to long lines and banking headaches with GoTime Bank. You can download the app now on Google Play or on the App Store and open your bank account in less than 5 minutes. All you need is an ID. Visit their official social media pages for more info or go to www.gotime.com.ph. That's www.gotime.com.ph. It's go time. And now a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. All right, let's go over to Monday Night Raw and talk about that inside baseball promo in Cody and Roman. And what Roman Reigns basically did was referenced Cody's entire AEW run. And when you were talking to us, the private chat natin, Ro, you were saying that it was way better than what Sammy Guevara did in the Four Pillars promo.
Yeah, kasi, Sami was making references. I was supposed to be the job guy. I was supposed to be the one who wasn't supposed to get a championship run. So, as people have pointed out, as other podcasts have pointed out, there will be people who will ask, what the fuck is a job guy? Diba? Ano ibig sabihin nun? Those words mean nothing to me. They mean something to us kasi we know what the lingo is. We know what the lingo means, but it's very alienating kasi yun nga, not everyone is hip with the jive talk, as opposed to Cody's or to Roman's promo rather, where Roman referenced something that's not insider but not really allowed within the context ng WWE kasi maybe you can mention WWE and AEW, but syempre, in WWE, you don't really acknowledge the competition like that, diba? So it's an insider thing that's not really an insider thing, because it's a history rather. That's an explicit history that people know, because everyone knew Cody left. Everyone knew that he went to AEW. He started AEW, and then things happened. He got booed in AEW. Then he left because that wasn't really working out for him. So those things are not they're not insiders. They're just really not allowed to be explicitly referred to. So it's more inclusive in a way that you don't have to be in on a joke or anything. You just have to be in on the history, which is not hard to do.
Yeah. Ikaw, Emile, as a fan, do you like it when the wrestlers get all inside baseball? I don't know if you ever watched the local scene, but when Ro and I were part of it, there was a lot of that going on. And at some point, I had to be like, teka lang, parang, like Ro said kanina, it does get alienating. So do you share that point of view?
Yes, kasi yung ginawa ni Roman, that's fine. Because I think any other viewer would have understand what he was saying. And Cody din naman is a big name, so it's fine. Pero when, like, one example siguro na I would reference is the first promo between MJF and CM Punk. I think that was too insider for me. That's the example that when people talk about promos being, too much insider, too much meta, that's the one I'm pointing
Please
at.
remind the people what that exchange had, because I don't remember either.
Yeah, they reference a lot of like insider stuff during that promo, like CM Punk's UFC career, a lot of WWE references thrown back and forth. Punk calling MJF what did you call MJF? A Miz, wannabe Miz.
No, but those things were like they're not exposing yung lingo or yung machinations ng diba, ng wrestling the way Sami did. It that was pointing to, again, a history that people could easily find and remember if you watched enough WWE as well, diba?
Yeah, iba yung ginawa ni Sammy Guevara, and he actually used the term job guy. Which, yeah, like your casual mainstream fan probably wouldn't understand that term.
Yeah. So yung mga terms na alam naman natin na isn't really supposed to be out there, but they're throwing it out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line with it. Pero yung ganito, yung what Roman did, that's fine. Kasi ako naman, nag-gets ko agad. I didn't even have to think about it. Like, I immediately got what he was saying. So when that happens, I think it's fine.
All right.
But there's a line drawn there. When you throw in terms na like people might be confused, that's where it is.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go to what Cody told Roman. If you lose at WrestleMania and the Usos also lose at WrestleMania, you lose everything. You lose the power, and when you lose that power, you lose Jimmy. Then you lose Jay. You lose Solo. What do you think about that, Ro? Like Cody's role in the story? Because earlier you were, the background alone kind of messes with the fact that parang, okay, Cody, anong papel mo? So what do you think about all of this?
Yeah, when I saw it, it's weird because the last thing that Cody said to Roman was not, "I'm gonna take the championship." He said that, but it wasn't the last thing he said. About the most impactful thing that he said was, the people in the chat have been saying that the bloodline will implode. It will cease to be what we know it now, and that is the main point of the story. That's the whole thing they're building up to. It's not Cody winning. It's the bloodline finally being destroyed. Diba? So,
is that a bad thing though?
It's not. But if I were a Cody fan, if I were a big Cody fan, rather, I'm like, why is the story still about Roman and the bloodline? Shouldn't it be my big conquering moment as the prodigal son, as the father of Dusty Rhodes, about finally winning a championship for Dusty Rhodes? Instead, I'm still the supporting character in the story, and what I said pretty much reinforces that I'm still the supporting character in the story. So parang if for the Cody fans out there, I would be pissed that this is how my hero is being treated. It's kind of the same thing back 10 years ago with CM Punk. Diba? A lot of people were pissed because Punk was not main eventing WrestleMania. It was John Cena and The Rock. even though he was the champion. So, yung pa lang, it feels a lot like that, even though it's not, or, for Cody, it's not really politics or anything. It's just that, Triple H and the Bloodline, they told a better story than, Cody winning the Royal Rumble. So it do be like that sometimes. So, yun lang, it's not a bad thing per se. It's just that, it's not the main thing. And, some people might have an issue with that.
Ikaw, Emile, do you have an issue with that?
Yes. Kasi before Cody got hurt, pretty much the story was supposed to be about Cody coming back at WrestleMania 38 and then having a year run where he would win the championship at WrestleMania. That was supposed to be the plan. But things got off track, and I think Cody came into the story way too late for him to be the bida in this story. Like he's not, like, he's the babyface, yes, pero hindi siya yung bida. He's not what people will go to WrestleMania to see. It's not Cody winning, it's the Roman losing. So may something off talaga dun. And I still can't get myself to root for Cody even after weeks of him feuding with Roman, because of that. The Bloodline got so over na parang yung story ni Cody is parang siningit lang talaga eh. So it doesn't feel organic to me.
Cody to me is
I don't think it's not organic. Like,
but I will agree na siningit nga siya. He feels like a plot device than a conquering hero, than a protagonist, sorry, what you were going to say?
Yeah, no, I was going to say the exact same thing. And I mean, if I'm Cody Rhodes, at some point, parang magrereklamo pa ba ako? You're in the main event of WrestleMania, diba? Your entire family never got to do that. You're probably going to win the World Championship. Your family never got to do that. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone will really care whether Cody was a plot device or the protagonist in this story when we look back on it 5 years down the road.
Yeah. You say that now, but remember, I don't know if you remember, but people did actually care about CM Punk not being the most heralded or the most central character in the storytelling, despite being the top champion. Because there was John Cena and there was The Rock above him. I'm not saying they would care now, but there is precedent for it, and it could be a thing. But it's, again, you're right. It's a lot better here. Cody is actually competing for the top championship in the main event of the very last day of WrestleMania. It's just that it could be a thing. It could be a thing. Maybe I have been burned by CM Punk complaining about it 10 years ago, but it is a thing. I wanted to go back real quick to yung question ni Joko kanina. He asks, can he carry the company? And how long before the crowd turns on him? I don't know. The answer to that question is kind of weird because right now they're not really trusting him to carry the company. It's still Roman Reigns who's the main protagonist and antagonist, and Cody is again just a kind of an NPC doon sa kwento ng Bloodline. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means he can be the top face because we're not getting that right now.
Yeah, there was another podcast. I'm not sure if it was Bill Simmons or Kina Masked Man where they actually discussed that very question. Parang, is Cody the person to carry the company in the post-Roman Reigns era? And if not, who is? But we'll get to that probably in a different conversation. Since we're talking about WrestleMania, we might as well bring up the WrestleMania showcase matches, which were announced over the weekend. So the men's field is filled up, and the women's field is to be determined over the next couple of weeks. And I was surprised that WWE is doing this, but it's another match on the card, another 2 matches on the card where more people get spots on the main show, get their WrestleMania payday. So ultimately, I can't complain.
It's gonna be fun, diba? I mean, 8 guys, 8 girls, spot fest. There's going to be no boring moments here. So let them have their fun and let them get paid. Yeah.
Yeah. My stakes, the winner becomes the next number 1 contender for the tag championship.
Yeah. That's where I wish this match Para may ano naman siya, may stakes naman siya, may relevancy naman siya. I wish this could be for the number one contendership for the tag team titles or something. Just put something for them to fight for.
A briefcase for $100,000. That's not a bad idea either.
They did do that in 1999. So
yeah.
Diba?
Ayan, sabi ni Fred, a nice way to showcase superstars. So mission accomplished nga naman. I really hope so.
Yeah, yung comment ni Derb, no, he's like doing the NJPW, the multi-team tag match. Iba, Wrestle Kingdom, they would usually open with a 4-way before. So parang ganito din. So just put a bunch of people there, then let them have a spot fest to open the show. So it's a great showcase naman for WrestleMania.
Aaron asks, where is Aaliyah? I believe he's injured. I remember that being a thing a while back.
Mm-hmm. Of course, New Day not here because Kofi is also injured. Katatanggal lang ng wraps niya. He posted on Instagram yesterday. So medyo gnarly pa rin yung itsura. So I don't know how Woods gets to be part of Mania this year. I hope somehow he gets to be part of Mania this year. Anyway, let's go to SmackDown ulit and talk about Rey Mysterio and his reasons for not fighting Dominic. And after watching that promo, na-establish siya sa akin lalo na parang, okay, gets ko na. Sabi ni Rey, under no circumstances niyang aawayin si Dom because it will reflect poorly on his legacy as a wrestler and as a father. So that's great. It really explains everything logically from the point of view of the Rey Mysterio character. 2 questions though. 1, where do we go from here? And 2, how does Rey Mysterio go back on his own word? Emile, any guesses here?
The first question, where do we go from here? Dom said, may sinabi si Dominic on Raw, which I think that's where the next thing will happen with this story. And he's going to ask permission from his mother, Rey's wife, for Rey to fight him at WrestleMania.
Rey's wife. His mother. Yeah, his mother.
Yeah, like I don't know what will happen there, pero maybe something will go down. Maybe i-hostage ni Dominic yung mother niya just for Rey to cave in to his demands. I think that's the safe way to do it. Like put Rey on a corner where he can't say no, or he can't say no to Dominic anymore.
I believe the rest of the family will be on SmackDown, so that's where they go next. I don't know how they move forward, but to me, I feel like this is like the most optimal build that they have for the entire WrestleMania. Because obviously they're going to get there, but I do not know how they're going to get there, and this compels me more because Rey has very clearly stated his motivations, and they are good motivations as well, diba? Ayun and dishonor to his family. So I am here and I'm wondering how he's going to end up beating his kid. So I have no answers for this either, kasi that was pretty rock solid what he said on SmackDown.
Diba? Pero hindi ni hula ko before like before we had that Rey promo from last week, diba yung hula ko here on the pod was Angie has to get involved. For the only way Rey will go back on anything he said is, I guess, if Dominic disrespects his own mother.
Exactly. Yeah, that's. I think that's the way for Rey to not look like a hypocrite. But also we are gonna get this match. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To answer Glendale, hindi pa natin alam if WrestleMania 39 will be Rey Mysterio's retirement match kasi merong rumors that came out today na it seems Rey, medyo ganado na ulit si Rey to continue pa, especially with the work he and Dom have been doing. So we don't know kung anong magiging last match ni Rey Mysterio. Either way, support ko yan. Okay, back to Raw here. Si Mommy this time, she referenced yung match nila ni Charlotte Flair from WrestleMania 36. And she fleshed out yung entire story beat na yon and basically said that Charlotte wants to hold everyone down and that Rhea is defying her and wants to become a star against Charlotte's will at Charlotte's expense. Ikaw, Emile, bilib ka ba dun sa reasoning na yon ni Rhea?
Yes, may logic naman kasi talaga sinabi ni Rhea na at that point in her career, there was no reason for Charlotte to go down to NXT and literally like win the developmental title. But she did. and at that time, I really thought WrestleMania 36, I thought that was going to be the breakout for Rhea Ripley. That she's going to defeat Charlotte, and she's going to be now one of the pillars of the women's division. But ang nangyari, baliktad. So may point yung sinabi ni Rhea, and I really wish na this time around, things can now turn around, and now it's going to be Rhea going over. So yeah.
Actually, there was a reason why she went to NXT that year. Kasi she had exhausted her options on Raw and SmackDown. Like, she had won both at that time, and nobody was really asking for another challenge from Charlotte Flair on both brands. That's why she chose NXT, because it was the novel choice at the time. And we did like it at the time. The only problem was that when she beat Rhea, parang Rhea never really got that win back, diba?
Rhea never got the win back. Instead, si Io yung naging next champion.
Yeah, diba? So that's where the entire thing actually holds up. And that's where Rhea is justified, diba? So I like that. I like this. This should have always been the entire point of the feud. And it's just weird that they're not really touching each other now, you know? Because I felt like this is like a justifiable reason to go all out on Charlotte Flair.
Wait, they brawled nung SmackDown.
Oh yeah, right. Pala.
There was a big pull apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron is asking, ang di ko gets is why Rhea is the good guy now.
Is she though?
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, she's justified in what she's saying, but she's still a bad guy kasi she's manipulated Dom, she's part of Judgment Day and does all of these horrible things to the Mysterio family. So I don't think that her going against Charlotte automatically turns her face.
Oo nga. Tsaka Charlotte is pretty much playing the face role. It's just that I think what Aaron means is that people still love Rhea more because she is Rhea Ripley and people want her to step on them. So she being more popular does not necessarily make you the good guy, diba?
Rhea faced Damage Control. I don't think anyone was faced there. I mean, it happens, but it's one of those very rare heel versus heel matchups, Rhea versus Bayley. But I think the point of that was really for us to go, oh, Becky, Trish, and Lita. Like, they were the real baby faces there in that entire match/segment.
Yep, exactly.
We're going to take a trip outside the ring now for this next bit of news, and that is Andy Kaufman being announced as this year's celebrity inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. People on the internet have been saying about damn time, bakit ngayon lang? I actually don't know, but I guess it's nice that it's happening after the documentaries about Andy Kaufman's involvement in wrestling have come out. Like, I remember watching yung Tales from the Territories episode, and I believe there was a Dark Side of the Ring episode on this as well.
Yeah, Andy Kaufman is seminal in the game. You wouldn't have your Logan Pauls, your Bad Bunnies, your Stephen Amell's,
Snooki,
your Johnny Knoxvilles, even your Casey Montero in PWR. None of those would be a thing without Andy Kaufman and his work with Jerry Lawler. So he pioneered the entire celebrity involvement factor aspect of pro wrestling. So you're right. It is weird why they haven't done this yet, diba? Especially when King has been working for the company for 3 decades now? Almost 3 decades, diba?
Ikaw, Emile, any thoughts on this one?
And he was one of the first celebrities to dip their toes in professional wrestling, and his involvement in wrestling was so good. There's still debates to this day whether or not the feud with him and Lawler was real or not.
Cool work ba yun, no?
Cool work ba yun, yeah. So definitely deserving as a celebrity inductee. It's long overdue, So so congratulations to Andy Kaufman, and very well deserving of the Hall of Fame induction.
All right, another bit of news outside the ring. Ito, bagong rumor this week. Triple H reportedly wants to get rid of the Universal Championship and bring back the big gold belt. Again, reportedly, di natin alam ano yung totoong saloobin ni Triple H towards the Universal Championship. But I, as a fan of the big gold belt, it is my favorite championship. I would like for this to happen. I would support it all the way. I can't wait for this to come to fruition kung totoo nga na ibabalik yung World Heavyweight Championship. Ikaw, Ro, do you have any strong feelings towards the big gold belt?
Yeah, it was always one of the best belts ever because it was what, pure gold or whatever.
Yep.
Whatever gold looking metal it is. The Undisputed Championship is great, Ricky. I also want that back, but you cannot deny the prestige of a pure ass gold belt, a big ass pure gold belt, and it was Triple H's championship in the early 2000s. It is synonymous with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
if it was Reign of Terror.
If it was because it was my awakening as a fan, diba? As a Ruthless Aggression era baby. Like, he did win the Winged Eagle before, but this is undoubtedly him, and it's not surprising that this is the championship he wants back, diba? I am all for it. We don't need two championships that look exactly the same but in different colors. This is going to make whoever is going to be the next World Heavyweight Champion look really good.
Mm-hmm. Emile, nabutan mo ba yung big gold belt?
Yes.
Yeah. It was retired in 2013.
Yeah. So the last 2 years is the big gold belt. So yeah. But ito lang yung like my comments about it. Like, it is no surprise that Triple H wants to bring back the big gold belt since he's a fan of WCW and he's a fan of Ric Flair. And that was like their belt, so it's no surprise. And yun din yung belt niya during his prime, which was the Reign of Terror. But for me, on the other side, I don't want them to completely get rid of the Universal title lineage. Because medyo matagal na din yung Universal title and madami na siyang historic reigns. So for me, I don't want them to completely get rid of it, the lineage. So I think what they can do is yung parang ginawa ng AEW with the All Atlantic title, just rename it and then redesign the belt, then bring the big gold belt back.
So you're saying redesign, rebuild, and reclaim.
Yeah, exactly.
What you're saying is unify the Universal and WWE championships completely, and then introduce a new belt to pretty much represent the Uwu. Correct?
Or yeah, pwedeng ganun. Or pwede rin palitan yung Universal title alone. Kasi WWE, yung lineage na is completely separate from the Universal. So just the Universal. So replace the name or replace the title belt and just run with it. At least yung lineage ng Universal title will still continue despite them changing the title belt. Kasi it's not new naman to wrestling na pinapalitan talaga yung belt. We have seen it with the WWE Championship before. So if I were to bring it back, that's maybe the way of how I would do it.
Yeah, maganda rin itong suggestion ni Aaron. Just combine the lineage of the Universal and the World Heavyweight Championships kasi wala namang overlap. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Remember that. I just wanted to remind people that when the Universal Championship was introduced in 2016, nung bagong brand split, people hated the idea. People did not like the name because it was, what the fuck is a Universal Championship? Diba? People did not like how the belt was a color swap version of the WWE Championship at the time. So it wouldn't be like a big loss if they completely retired the Universal Championship because it's just one of those things that we got used to as a fan base now. So you said that sayang yung lineage na, it's fine. We stop lineages all the time. And you could just restart the World Heavyweight Championship lineage again.
Yeah, kind of like how TJP became the first Cruiserweight champion in 2016.
Yeah.
So there. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about this viral photo/video of Rhea Ripley getting mobbed by fans at the airport and her unloading her feelings about that. Plus, we'll talk about AEW booking El Hijo del Vikingo and how that all went down. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. Welcome to the audio-only part of the podcast. Here's some of the stuff that we just couldn't fit into the live stream. And as you could have guessed, supersized na naman yung stream last week or last night. So we've got this portion right here. Let's start off with AEW and this new chapter in the story of Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, where it looks like Don Callis is gaslighting Hangman Adam Page here and making him look like an asshole so Kenny Omega wouldn't trust him again. So quick recap. After the main event match, the Blackpool Combat Club came out and attacked Kenny Omega. Hangman Page came back from the hospital to save Kenny, and then may dala-dala pa siyang 2x4 na merong pako. And then as the good guys warded off the Blackpool Combat Club, si Hangman was trying to get Don Callis to stand up. And then for some reason, nagre-resist si Don Callis, and then he did a back bump. So when Kenny Omega came to, it looked like Hangman had struck Don Callis. And I kind of like this unpredictability here because at least it's a way to make the story a bit longer. I'm not sure what you guys feel about this development, though.
That part was nice. It made sense. There was an impending, reunion, and then the reunion is complicated now. It's just that I didn't understand why BCC was wreaking havoc in this whole thing. It felt like they were focused on telling this one part of the story well, and then the rest we'll make it up as we go along. And then, BCC ended up being the plot device for this. So that was weird to me. I don't know if I missed anything. I just know that they attacked the Young Bucks, but we don't really know why. And to that point, they never really established yung bagong vision mission ng BCC after turning heel on Hangman and the Dark Order. Diba? Like, yes, we understood why Moxley turned organically against Hangman, but there is no same explanation for this for Yuta and Claudio. Diba? So again, not doing the work to tell the story. I don't know what's happening here, but that part is cool. I do not know where the end game is though. Like, Hangman, Kenny, Callis, like, where are we going? I don't know where we're going. But if it means that we are moving away from Hangman BCC, then great.
Nico, Emile, did you catch this earlier?
Yes, I did. And in the first place naman, Kenny doesn't really trust the Hangman yet. So bakit ang pinagtataka ko lang, why would Don Callis pull something like this?
There may part na nawawala, diba? Is it just me? Or,
Like, so like, and then at the beginning of the episode, suddenly the Young Bucks are being carted out.
Hindi, yun naman gets natin in-attack sila eh. Like, from the main event or the post-main event attack, you can put the pieces together.
Yeah, but ano naman hindi pa talaga bati si Hangman ta si Kenny. So there's no reason for Don Callis to pull that off of me. They could have gone away without that. But I really think something is fishy is going on with Don Callis and the BCC.
You think Don Callis is gonna align with the BCC?
Ooh.
Siya yung bagong mentor nila.
Because
the Winnipeg Combat Club.
Because if you notice, during the attack, Callis was outside the ring, and the BCC wasn't doing anything.
Touching him.
Yeah.
Hindi Winnipeg Combat Club, the Winnipeg Grappling Group.
So I think there's something fishy going on there. And then at the beginning of the episode, Kenny wants to go with the Bucks hospital, but Don Callis was the one who was stopping and
stopped him.
And then yung promo with the middle of the show, Don Callis was trying to get Kenny out of it. Yung concern niya sa Young Bucks, he was trying to get him out of it and focusing on the match. Which he didn't really win, so I don't know if it worked. But we need to watch out in the next few weeks.
He did win. What are you talking about?
Kenny did win. I'm sorry. But I think something is fishy going on with Callis and the Combat Club.
I just sorry, really quick. I just wanted to say na even though I don't always watch it, I appreciate yung weekly recap ng WWE before the show starts, before like a Raw or SmackDown starts. I appreciate na it's not for me because I know what happened last week, but it is really nice to be reminded of what happened last week, so I can put the next parts together.
Yeah. especially now na may point of comparison in AEW. Because now I'm left filling in the blanks on my own. Na parang, Don Callis is a money-driven manager. Na he wants Kenny to be in singles matches, in main event singles matches, diba? So, mas may pera si Don Callis. But that's not canon, diba? We've talked about this on the pod before. Na if the fan has to fill in the blanks on their own, then the storytelling isn't up to par because you're letting the fan do your work for you.
Yeah, that's why the Bloodline is the best storytelling right now. Kasi they actually confirm yung fan theories outright by and in doing so, they don't just leave it as fan fiction.
Yeah. And, it also makes us fans kind of look smart for being able to tell, hey, this is going to happen. Oh, shit, yeah, it did happen. Diba? So we kind of do look smart afterward. All right, let's go back to WWE here. And there's news on Bill Goldberg now being a free agent. Somewhere, Bret Hart is probably happy that he and Goldberg will not have to share a space at WrestleMania weekend.
Does Goldberg still want to wrestle, though?
I think he's retired for good.
Yeah, diba?
I don't know.
I mean, ano pa gagawin niya? Like, I really don't. There's no really demand for people to see him again in the wrestling ring.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Like, nakuha na natin yun with his run from 2016 till last year.
You really will be surprised.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, man. It baffles me as well, but there are fans who still think Goldberg 2023 is Goldberg 2003.
Okay. Pero, like, wala naman mawala sa akin if Goldberg would just retire for good. He's already, 50-something, 50 plus.
He's in his mid-50s, yes.
Yeah. So let the man retire in peace. We don't want him in wrestling again. For me,
but if you were Tony Khan, though, would you get Goldberg for the pop for the casual fan rep?
For a segment, one time big time segment where he's gonna spear someone and jackhammer. Plus, it's on the Turner Network, so it's a nostalgic thing.
A connection, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe something like that, but not like a run where he's gonna win the title.
Yeah, book it. Next AEW World Champion, Goldberg. Do it for Gage. Okay, let's talk about Roxanne Perez now and how she's being written off of NXT. This is all in kayfabe. It's part of the story. Medyo weird coming off of last week's discussion na she was made to defeat Meiko Satomura and then the whole collapsing thing happens and then now they're looking to fill out yung 5 spots for the ladder match at Stand and Deliver. Ako naniniwala pa rin ako na Roxanne's gonna be the last participant. If not during the go-home show, then at the show itself, she'll be the final entrant.
It's just weird that they have to go about this in a weird roundabout way. The original rumor kasi was that somebody reported or somebody claimed that there was a personal issue that she had to attend to at home. That's why she was written off. But then another report said that it was all for the story. So to me, the personal issue makes more sense in this whole thing. Kasi, I don't know, I'm weird na they suddenly decided to write her off and then pretend that she's not coming back and then she's going to come back. This is a weird way to tell it, to tell the whole thing and build a match, to build a multi-woman match for the championship. So that's just me. I don't understand this logic.
Ang hindi ko lang naintindihan dito is they haven't really stripped Roxanne of the title, right?
Yeah, they have.
But they're acting like the title is vacant.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah, so, that's the weird part about it.
So, ang kutob dito tuloy, same with San, she's gonna come back at Stand and Deliver and defend the title.
Roxanne's absence has as many conspiracy theories as the disappearance of MH370 at this point.
I do hope everything is okay with Roxanne though. Like the reports na meron siyang personal issues that she has to deal with.
Right.
So I hope everything's okay. Yeah, I hope everything's okay and she can get back to the ring as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Let's go over to Japan now, where the New Japan Cup has concluded and there's a new winner in Sanada. I have no idea if he's still a cold skull, but he's now part of it.
Just Five Guys. Yeah,
He's not part of Just Five Guys. Yeah,
that's the story. He left Lij. He cut his hair. He shaved the whole thing. Yung blonde hair wala na. He is a completely new person.
He's just a guy.
So yeah, he really does look just a guy. So sobrang clean shaven na itsura niya. Some would say that it looks like a main eventer. Like he looks like a main eventer here.
He does.
But yeah, diba? Others would say he looks blander, mas may personality yung Cold Skull gimmick. To me though, even though it looks like he's going to be primed for bigger things, I do feel like the ship has sailed on Sanada. But, never too late, diba? As Brendan Fraser and the rest have proven, you're never too old for the big spot. And I know that NJPW is looking for a non-Okada, non-Tanahashi person to be on top because they don't always want to fall back on those guys. But it's 2023. It's been 10 years since Okada became a big deal. They only went back to Okada because they had to default to it. Diba? So,
kasi umalis na Kenny.
Yeah, exactly. So this would be nice. It would be nice if it were headed somewhere, but previous history has proven that it did not go anywhere. So sana we are proven wrong there.
Are you saying previous history to refer to Evil?
No. With regard to how they booked Sanada.
Okay. Kala ko Evil winning New Japan Cup, him being champion for a while then,
No.
Is Five Guys like an offspring of the Suzuki-gun?
Basically it's the remnants of Suzuki-gun.
Yeah,
Sanada.
Okay, so I'm all for it. I mean, I'm a big Sanada fan, and if this finally means that he's gonna win the big one, then I'm all for it. Because they're in a way they're running out of main event stars. Like Jay just left, and Naito is not really exclusive to New Japan anymore. So,
may David Finlay pa, ano ba?
I'm not yet counting David Finlay as a main event star in New Japan. So, I think give the ball to Sanada and let him cook. Let him be the champion because he's. I think in a way he's still over with the New Japan crowd, and he has always had good showings whenever I would see him wrestle. So why not? Why not give Sanada a run here?
All right. And finally, we're going to close things out by talking about good friend of the podcast, Robbie Eagles, who has not only changed allegiances, but has also challenged Hiromu Takahashi for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and then in the process revealed that he's now part of TMDK, which is more and more looking like a stable of Aussie guys plus Zack Sabre Jr. But I don't mind because I love ZSJ and I love Robbie Eagles. So I'm like super, super happy for Kuya Robbie here and this big opportunity coming up at Sakura Genesis.
That's not a coincidence, the fact that it's all Aussie guys. It really is an Aussie stable, and it started in Noah.
Yeah. Alam ko naman yun, yeah. Weird lang na see ZSJ as part of it since he's not Aussie.
Kasi wala nang Suzuki-gun eh. Also worth noting that he was offered a spot in United Empire, which is the all-Filipino, di naman all-Filipino, but the Filipino stable. So dun dapat siya.
Sa Pinoy Subunit.
Yeah, Subunit. So it's great that he turned that down because, that stable is very problematic outside of guys like Jeff Cobb and, Francesco Akira and Aussie Open. I like TMDK. TMDK is shaping up to be a monster stable, I think. Monster faction. They could be like the next Bullet Club if they play the cards right. Say Bullet Club is pretty passe at this point. The OGs have pretty much all but left, diba? So, you do need a cool new Gaijin stable. And I think TMDK will succeed there where United Empire didn't really take off, outside of Will Ospreay, diba?
Sorry. Si Robbie Eagles dati sa Chaos siya before.
Yeah. Chaos is not really a thing anymore. It's a loose collection of people who somehow affiliated as Chaos, but they don't really identify or represent Chaos that much anymore.
Yeah, medyo past its prime na rin yung grupo eh.
Yeah. I like this because it makes Kuya Robbie relevant again, and he gets to go back to Japan because That's always been his thing. That's the next step in his career, not to discount Australia, but Japan is still the bigger stage for him.
Yeah. Really love this for him. Hoping he wins the title again, and hopefully we can have him back on the podcast after this Sakura Genesis match. If he ends up winning the big one again.
Plus, it's time na someone new will win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, because it seems like for the last 2 years, umiikot lang siya between Ishimori, Takahashi, and before it was Dragon Lee. So, don't umiikot yung scene. So, time for something different. So, I'm rooting for Rodriguez.
So that's the audio-only part of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of the Wrestling Podcast. And we're going to end it right here. All right, our next bit of news from outside the ring concerns WWE and their plans to monitor airport and hotel situations with wrestlers and fans. So this screenshot here is from a video that went viral on the Squared Circle subreddit. This was right after the Royal Rumble. Basically, dinumog ng mga fans si Rhea Ripley sa airport para magpapirma. Just this past week, Rhea actually tweeted out and she said na, if it's not a personal photo of me and you, I'm not gonna sign it. And I guess napuruhan na siya. She got to a point where she just gotten tired of people mobbing her. And for good reason. Here in the Philippines, we've seen Filipino fans, some people from within the actual wrestling scene, doing the same thing. And we've said for years on this podcast, on the Wrestling Gods, to not do that. And yet, people still do.
Yeah. First, it's hard for, since the wrestling scene is young here, it's hard for people to not separate themselves as fans. Diba? It's still not ingrained in them, which I get. But at some point, you have to learn na you're not supposed to, go crazy. You can fan over your peers in the business, your peers being the other wrestlers, but not in a way that is like an obsessive, creepy fan. Diba? So,
like hanging out at the airport or at the hotel. You remember yung 2016 live event? Ito, umiinit yung dugo ko rito eh. Some asshole got the flight details of the WWE's roster, yung from Beijing to Manila, and pinublish niya on social media for everyone to see everyone's real names, flight details, seat numbers, the terminal that their flight was going to land at. What the hell?
That's illegal, by the way. It should be noted. So if it seems like he was an airport insider, so he should be fired for that, if he wasn't already. But yes, let's not bother people at the airport, please. Let's have some sense of propriety. Like, it's okay if you went to the same Starbucks or whatever, and then you saw each other there, then you asked for a picture. If it was a good time for them, that's fine. That's totally fine. But let's not swarm the airport and hotel and camp out and wait for them to come out so you can get a picture or have an autograph, diba? So that's not cool, and Rhea is completely justified here. She is allowed to complain about it because siya naman yung dinudumog, diba? Hindi naman yung ibang tao. So let's remind ourselves to be cool, be cool.
Naalala ko yung line ni CM Punk during the shoot promo. People are gonna shove things in his face to sign. It's not even his picture, and try to sell it on eBay. So it's not cool. Fans yung mga abangers sa hotels and airport, that's not cool. There's always an etiquette of being a fan. Like, you could go to meet and greets, you could go to live events, you could do all that. But when wrestlers are outside of that, like kung nasa airport sila going through somewhere, please, as much as possible, don't swarm them. You can say hi to them, and if they say hi back, then okay. If you ask respectfully for a picture, then they probably gonna be obliged. So if you will interact with your favorites, please do it respectfully and not in a way that these people did, which they just swarmed her and they just asked her to sign all of these things. Walang etiquette, walang respeto, in my opinion. So, nasa side din ako ni Rhea Ripley na I'm like, if I was in their shoes, I would be frustrated too. So, for the fans, please be respectful, and pag pag nakita nyo na ayaw magpa-bother ng mga wrestlers or even mga celebrities here in the local
Uy, si Harry Styles, nasa green belt, naka-face mask, kabulin natin.
No, pero yun naman kasi they ran into Harry Styles. Diba? It's not like they knew Harry Styles in green belt.
Exactly, yeah. Like, if you ran into someone and you say hi, that's okay. That's wala problema yun kasi talagang nagkataon lang yun. Pero yung aabangan mo talaga sila sa kung nasaan sila, that's so,
okay, let me share this one story. Hindi ko papangalanan because this person is a good friend of mine and Rose. But this friend of ours happened to want to catch a glimpse of John Cena at the hotel where he was staying at here in the Philippines. Goes to the hotel on the morning of the live event, finds the restaurant in which John Cena is having breakfast, goes up to his table and goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Cena, can I have a photo with you?" John Cena looks at him, says no, and goes back to his meal. Is John Cena wrong, Emile? Answer the question.
No, kasi nasa right naman niya kasi kumain siya eh. Like, he's not obligated to do anything with that fan on that time of the day. Siguro, meet and greets, okay. That's okay yon to take picture. Pero he has the right to say no. That's the thing that's what people forget here. These wrestlers always have the right to say no. If they said no, fair game na yon. You can't you have no right to enforce yourself to them. Consent eh. Yung part natin dito consent. If John Cena obliged and good, wala, okay yon. Pero if you said no, that's okay then. It's fair game. It's fair game.
Damn, young buck, we raised you right.
To the questions in the chat, buti nakita ni si Cena. Siyempre makita niya. I mean, if you saw a spoon and fork moving on its own, floating in the air, you would know that's him, right? Like, if you saw some scrambled eggs moving in the air, right?
Or baka umaga-umaga, bing chillin yung niya, breakfast of choice niya. Diba?
I just wanted to say, as someone who has been stopped in the mall by fans, I want to thank those fans. I want to thank those fans for being cool. You are the people who should be emulated. Thank you for being cool.
So I will add to this. Yung mga nagpapasign ng mga Funko Pops, mga pictures, those aren't fans. Most of these fans are just resellers. Mga negosyante tong mga to. So they're not even like true fans who just wants a piece of memorabilia signed by their favorite wrestler. They're doing it for profit, which parang scum siya for me.
Sorry. It should be noted as well that I think we kind of glossed over this, but WWE is actually not happy with the behavior of these fans, diba? So yun yung pinaka point nitong news angle. Kasi, wrestlers getting mad at fans, mobbing them at the airport, that's old news. But now WWE wants to do something about it, except that they don't know exactly what they should do or what they could do about it. Kasi, syempre, how can you punish a fan for
being a fan?
No, not just being a fan, for being at the airport in which WWE has no jurisdiction over, diba?
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah, good question.
They are trying to figure out how to go about it. That's the main point of this angle here. And it's good, actually, that they actually want to do something about it, because it has been happening for way too long, diba? It has happened here, as we've just talking about, diba? And I also do not have an answer on how they could fix this. Bodyguards, I guess? I don't know.
We'd rather leave this to people much smarter than us.
Di ba sila naka-chartered plane? Like,
no,
sir.
They do not. They do not. They fly commercial.
Unless your name is Brock Lesnar.
As the guy who revealed who leaked the info has shown us, they fly commercial.
I really wish I could find that post, have that guy arrested. All right, let's close out here with AEW talk and the dream match controversy. And I say this with air quotes. Kenny Omega and El Hijo del Vikingo, this was announced in between Dynamite last week and Dynamite kanina. So they barely had any TV time to build this up. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm not going to pretend, I know who Vikingo is. Like, I've seen his stuff. I literally did not know who he was until this week. Right? And I'm probably one of those fans na parang, teka lang, but walang announcement. So it was kind of weird when I heard about it na, oh wow, it's a dream match. Okay, kind of weird, but all right, whatever, AEW. So, ikaw, Emile, what do you think of how this all went down? Sobrang madalian because AAA only allowed him to be booked recently.
Yeah, okay. Sige, go ahead.
I didn't mind the sudden announcement of the match kasi yun nga, circumstances surrounding it eh. So, but it also had Kenny Omega. So for one, I was curious and I was excited for the match on the list because it has Kenny Omega and Kenny Omega matches tend to be great. Plus, to be honest, sanay na ako with TK announcing matches without any build-up since that has been his booking style since the beginning. Like this is one of those times that Dynamite every now and then feels like an indie supercard. Now they would just book a bunch of these wrestlers and they just have great matches. And this is a prime example of it. I do get the concern though of some people na ba't walang build-up, ba't walang ganito.
Walang
Kasi
hype package.
Walang hype.
Vignette.
Kasi may population naman talaga who watches AEW na doesn't have a clue on who Vikingo is. So, gets ko naman yun. Gets ko yung concern.
Yeah. It's very complex now. Because at first, we didn't have all the facts. You know, Stan mentioned that AAA has a tight control on his schedule, and Tony Khan found out at the very last minute that he could have Vikingo this week, diba? It's also one of those things that you can't really research too much past outside of viral Twitter clips because AAA doesn't allow the other promotions that book Vikingo to broadcast footage of his matches because that's how anal they are about the whole thing. I understand what Emile was trying to say in that eto talaga style ni TK na, you know, he lets the internet fans carry the hype. But as a marketing person, as a PR person, that shit is just not optimal. And as someone who has, you know, actually worked in the wrestling industry, and, you know, we who actually promote personalities on this very podcast, we make sure that the people, or some people would know who we're talking about or who we're guesting about. It's just not optimal that you would carry your hype with the internet chatter. My biggest pet peeve about this was people just telling other people, yung mga fans na hindi kilala si Vikingo, to just Google the guy. The thing with that is Googling solves your who is this guy problem, but it never really solves the why should I care problem. Diba? You can't always Google your way into why is this a big deal? Why is he a dream match? Yung mga stuff na sinabi nila about how it's been years in the making, how it was supposed to happen before the pandemic and then it didn't happen.
Even before the pandemic, 2021 lang naman.
Sorry. Yeah. Even Excalibur running down his Vikingo's achievements and who he is basically on commentary as he was making his entrance. Yeah, Ricky, you're right. There is no choice to the guy in terms of marketing it, but there were some days before, between the announcement and today's Dynamite that you could have cobbled together, you could have scrapped together a quick Talking Heads video package. Get Conan, get Excalibur, get Kenny Omega to talk about Vikingo and just get people to care. The work was cut out. The work was there. The legwork was there. All you had to do was do the legwork. And Tony Khan did not do the legwork. Instead, he let the internet debate itself again and let that carry the hype because, you know what they say, bad PR, bad publicity is always publicity. The thing with that is, yeah, it did its job, but at the same time, you again have a strike against you for not doing what you were supposed to do. Yun talaga. My problem talaga is with people telling other people to Google. That's not marketing. That's not PR. That's not how you promote someone by asking other people to take another step when you should be bannering the information that they need to know. That's not a good practice at all, coming from someone who is in the business of promoting.
Yeah. I'm going to be adding a personal story here. I don't know about you guys, but when I was trying to get into New Japan, a former friend of ours was telling me, hyping Shinsuke Nakamura to me and why he was a big deal. Why is Shinsuke Nakamura like the Michael Jackson of wrestling? Why he's so captivating. So it wasn't very gatekeepery na Google mo na lang gago or parang di mo kilala si Nakamura, tangin na mo, di ka totoong wrestling fan, you know? Like this former friend actually made it a point to make me care about Nakamura to the point of making me want to look for a Shinsuke Nakamura match in New Japan. So, like, I think that's the more optimal approach when it comes to letting people know in your circles that, okay, here's why you should care about this guy or this girl. So I'm with Ro here. The Google Mo Gago strategy is not really good.
Yeah, it's just, once again, I am disappointed in Tony Khan because the work is so easy. It's there. You are a millennial. You know how the internet works, and it's not supposed to work like that. It's just so disappointing. Kasi, ano ba, man? You are posturing yourself as the competition, and you're not acting like it. You know, it's just really disappointing. Kasi you could be better. That's what I guess what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. He has gotten lazy. Because if this was like early Dynamite, for sure, may video package too, because early Dynamites had a lot of that. But yeah, he's gotten lazy, and siguro yun na nga. He just depends on internet fans who knows their stuff to hype up Vikingo, who, like, you know, by watching earlier, he's really good. But I think
make no mistake, it was a fun spot fest.
He should have done a better job of, I guess, at least video package. I think some video package lang.
I just wanted the HBO style, you know, the talking heads. Just tell people, show people, not say, okay, this is a dream match. Yeah, it's a dream match for some. I understand why. I know who Vikingo is, but has it not crossed your mind that it's not going to be a dream match for everyone just because you said it was? So yun lang naman. It's just really sad and disappointing.
Yeah, before anyone comes for us in the comments, there was actually a video package of Vikingo during Dynamite mismo, like an hour before the main event. So
yeah, and no, but that assumes you already tuned into the show. I mean, like,
yes.
When the Blackpool Combat Club started, they put out their own video on the internet, which was really great. They explained who they were. They explained why they came together, what William Regal's philosophy of violence was. That was a great thing. And couldn't they have done something like that to, you know, at least i-launch sa Twitter and Instagram, diba? The internet was there for your promotion.
Right, we've got more AEW talk in the audio-only version of this podcast. We'll talk about Don Callis' new role in the Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega arc. We'll talk about Goldberg being a free agent as well. Pati na rin si Roxanne Perez, why she was written off of NXT, and Sanada's win in the New Japan Cup for this year. All of that on your podcatchers, wherever you get your podcasts, by tomorrow night. Anything you guys want to plug? Ikaw, Emile, let's start with you.
No, just follow me on TikTok at the ML_Meister22 for some sports opinions, and also on Twitter at the ML_Meister.
All right, ikaw, Ro.
Yes, very big thing to plug. It has been announced as of this week's episode of MWF Republica, the Japanese buzzsaw himself, our Japanese Tito, who is, you know, as I think you should all know, is a friend of the Philippine wrestling scene. Tajiri is coming to MWF on April 30th. That is Republica. And ringside tickets have sold out. When we broke the news, you know, everyone just went crazy. So you can still get general admission tickets for the Power Max Center Spotlight at tickettome.net. Meron pa yun. Don't miss your chance to watch a legend, a living legend, do his thing in the Philippines. He's been here a handful of times, but, you know, promotion wasn't optimal back then. So now you know. And, you know, I'll be calling that match. It will be my honor and pleasure. Can't believe I'll be doing that live. Again, it's tickettome.net. The event should be there. And also as well, if you want to catch up on MWF, how we got here, how the previous episodes, the episodes from 2022 and upcoming episodes of the show of Action Novela, all you got to do is head to manilawrestling.com, subscribe to the Gank. It is $10 or around 570 something pesos. You can pay via debit card, credit card, GCash, a whole bunch of ways to support local wrestling. Yon. And also, one more thing to plug. I have a new article on multisport.ph. This is for the women because I take a look at the lessons of 5 elite female athletes. Chief among them is one Bianca Belair. So please give that a read because, you know, it's very inspiring stuff. You know what I mean? And follow us on TikTok at Wrestling2Xpod.
Yeah, favorite ko talaga that you included Elena Deladon of the Washington Mystics in that article. Good stuff, good stuff. One last plug here for regarding Tajiri. Go check out my interview with him on this very podcast. It's from 5 years ago. Thanks again to 5 years ago, 2018, my friend.
Was it 20? Okay, I thought it was 2019.
That was 5 years ago.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you to Tarek of MWF for setting up that interview way back when. It's episode number 268. We posted it again on our Twitter, so go check that out. Fun conversation with Tajiri.
It's on Facebook. It's on our Facebook page. I uploaded it to our YouTube, so you want to keep it on the background while making it easier to find. Just go to our YouTube page now.
Yeah, and a new episode of On Deck with Stancy out tomorrow, featuring one of our OG patrons on the podcast, Abby Yuson, Sininang Abby. I talked to her about being a radio fan and how, from a fan's perspective, how you're able to form a connection with the people you listen to on the radio. So that should be out on your favorite podcatchers by tomorrow lunchtime. In the meantime, you can follow us individually at Row is War, at EML_Meister, at Chino Supersize, and at Monday Night Rowan. For me, it is at _Stan C. Follow us everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify at Wrestling Podcast, Twitter and TikTok, sabi nga ni Ro, at Wrestling2XPod. Kita-kita tayo sa WrestleMania 39 viewing party on April 2 and 3. And go catch the Pick of the Week episode from last Tuesday and the one coming up on next Tuesday. And we'll see you on the next live stream, the WrestleMania Predictions Edition. Tama, diba? Predictions na? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The WrestleMania Predictions edition of the Wrestling Podcast. On behalf of Emile ASH and Ro Moran, my name is Stan C. Thank you to our PNA producers. We're out of here. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Bye-bye.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.